All right, all right. We're going to be doing this with this. What's this? It's helping you draw a straight line. We're going to be drawing a straight line, drawing some lines today, learning about linear functions, how to find them, graph them, find their slopes, their y-intercepts. So we got homework going on. And so we need to make sure to do this easier, is to put it in slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form is solving for the y and getting the x, which has a slope next to it, as well as the y-intercept. So, for example, number 1, we have an invisible 1 there. And that invisible 1 is the slope. So we have a slope of -1. So this is called, so the form y equals mx plus b. So that's the slope intercept form. And so we use slope intercept form. We use slope intercept form, y equals mx plus b, to graph linear equations, to graph lines. For example, number 1 has a slope of -1 and a y-intercept of just 1. Now, when we say y-intercept, we mean where it crosses on the y-axis. So also someone said a starting place. Shout out to 4th period, I think it was Bodie, maybe. So a starting place, like where do you start, your initial starting place, right? So for example, number 1 has initial starting place, a y-intercept of +1. So we start with 0, 0, and we go up 1. So this is our starting dot. 0, 1, and that has to do with this guy right here, right? Up 1, up 1. Cool. Then we do the slope. Now, any whole number can be written over the number 1, right? So our slope now, -1/1. So our slope, -1/1, is going to be down 1, is what that means. That's what the negative means, down. So down 1, and then over 1. Now you could also have it, you could also have the negative in the bottom. Talk about that in a second. Okay, so down 1 over 1. So from our graph here, we're going to go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. And so that's going to be our graph of our line. Going diagonally there. Now we can also go, we can also do it the other way around. We can go back. We can go back 1, because that's what negative means, go to the left. So left or back 1, and then also up 1. So we'll go back 1, up 1, back 1, up 1, back 1, up 1. And we continue on our straight line. And there it is, there's our graph. So we're going to match that on canvas and find the correct graph that matches that line. Beautiful. Okay, so number 2, you want to make sure you solve for slope-intercept form. For number 2, so you get 5x minus y equals a +5. So that means you want to get the y to be positive and the other numbers to be negative. Or not necessarily negative, but just the other side. So what I'm going to do is, to make it easy, I'm actually going to add y over to this side like that. And then I'm going to subtract 5 over to here. So I end up with y equaling 5x minus 5. So that's still slope-intercept form. Now you could rewrite it. And how you would rewrite that is, because usually we have the y first, right? We usually have the y first, don't we? So I'm just going to put it first. So y is going to go first, then the equal sign, then 5x minus 5. It is the same thing. And so now that is our slope-intercept form. So then you can go ahead and graph that using the slope. And so again, the slope here will be 5 over 1. So that's up 5 over 1. Up over 1. And then -5 is where our starting point is, our y-intercept. And so that's all the way down here, right? Up 5 over 1, up 5 over 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. And there it is. Nice, nice. That was a bit off you, Blue. Oh yeah, sorry. So up 5 over 1. You do another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. And then you graph that line. Man, you guys getting it? I think you're getting it. Nice. So go and give number 3 a try. Put it in slope-intercept form. Number 4 is already ready to go, and so is 5. Don't forget, if you don't want to do it the way I did by adding y over minusing 2 over, you could also technically minus x over like that. But then this is an invisible -1 there that you have to divide by -1. Divide by -1, divide by -1, that would change all the signs. So that's another way to do it if you don't want to just swap around. You could go ahead and make y positive by dividing by -1 all the way across. So go and graph number 3, 4, 5. Go and graph those. Go and graph those ones. Don't forget our pre-algebra review, you guys. Remember pre-algebra review? So -14, or 14 divided by 7 is just 2. That was easy. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then what? Don't forget PEMDAS, you guys. So remember, to do these, you got to do PEMDAS. So that's parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Yeah, so do parentheses first. Do parentheses first. And then second, third, and so forth. So 2 times 6 is 12. 12 plus 5 is 17. Isn't it so much fun? Pre-algebra review. So don't forget this is -2 times -2 times -2k. And so that would be -2 times -2 is +4 times -2 is -8. So this thing right here is actually -8. But you're going to times with a 2 and then subtract all that with 15 minus that. Cool. Let's see, don't forget to flip and multiply. You flip and multiply. Oh no, you don't understand. Not flipping, not flipping. It's flip and. Oh, yeah, that's different. Flip in is different than flip and. So we're gonna flip and multiply, because that's how you do a fraction divided by a fraction. So you do 3/5 times 2/9. Because you're gonna go ahead and flip and multiply. Cool. Don't forget to reduce it. 2 multiply straight across. So 3 times 2 is 6. And then 5 times 9 is 45. And that can be reduced by dividing by 3. So don't forget to do it. Ooh, 6e. Ooh. Do you remember how to do subtraction? Ooh, yeah, but I don't remember how to do mixed. I don't remember how to do fractions to denominators, do you both? Well, you gotta get a common denominator, right? Remember, gotta get a common denominator. So to get a common denominator, you're gonna go ahead and multiply by the denominator. What I mean is 7 and 3, well, they have a common denominator of 21. How does 7 become a 21? Well, you times it by 3 to the top and bottom, because that's just 3 over 3 is just 1. And then how do you get 1/3? Let's see, so how do you get that to become a 21? Well, you multiply by 7 to the top and bottom. And then when you do that, you get 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 7, good, is 21, minus 7 times 1 is 7. And then 7 times 3 is 21. Yay, we did it. Got a common denominator. So is that like 11 over 21, which reduces? Not. Cool, that was a tricky one. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so perform the indicated operation, 7c. Don't forget to distribute that through first, and then combine like terms, right? So distribute or multiply. Distribute means to multiply through. then combine like a terms. Multiply through, combine like terms. Don't forget that x squared times x is actually x to the third power, because you add the powers. And then x squared times 2 is 2x squared. This is actually unit 2. We're going to be doing a lot of this with unit 2 coming up after this. Cool. 7a, don't forget to square both of them first. So we get x times 5 squared and x to the fourth squared. Because you have to distribute the 2 to both of them. 2 there and 2 there. And then don't forget a power to power. If you raise, right, if you raise a power to a power, then you multiply those powers. You multiply. So that would be like x times 5 squared is 25. And then we have x to the 8th power. So when you do power to power, you multiply. But then when you just have like x times x to the 8th, then you don't multiply, then you add the powers. So this should end up being 25x to the 9th power. Nice. Ooh, radicals. We're going to learn that in the future as well. So don't forget to split that into 9 times 2 is 18. Still bring down the square roots. But then that splits off into the square root of 9 times the square root of 2. And the square root of 9 is just a 3, so that actually comes out, and it becomes a 3 that we multiply. So then we get 9 radical 2 minus 3 times 3 is 9. What's left? The radical 2. Oh, that's just 0. That's just silly. That's just silly. Okay, let's you finish that for algebra. So we're going to jump over and down to talking about finding the equation of the line using the slope-intercept form for number 8 and number 9. So given a graph, come up with the equation. Great. So make sure you keep on watching, watch my next video, keep on learning, and trying the other ones on your own. In fact, if I haven't told you this, the best way to do this is to try each problem on your own first. Tell your brain I want to learn by trying. Then push play and see if you got it right. So do number 8 and 9 right now, and then watch my next video and see if you got it right. Cool. Thanks for watching. You behind the screen. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching.